Hey, Clayton, Deuteronomy 21 talks about executing a stubborn, rebellious son. Isn't that way too harsh? And what parent would ever do that to their kid? Let me read the verse to you. Deuteronomy 21, verse 18 to 21 says this: If someone has a stubborn and rebellious son who does not obey his father and mother and will not listen to them when they discipline him, his father and mother shall take hold of him and bring him to the elders at the gate of his town. They shall say to the elders, This son of ours is stubborn and rebellious. He will not obey us. He is a glutton and a drunkard. Then all the men of his town are to stone him to death. You must purge the evil from among you. All Israel will hear and be afraid. This is a question that was actually addressed by two of our previous interviews. Dr. Ben Noonan did an interview about Old Testament laws that are hard to understand, and he talked about capital punishment in the Old Testament law. We also interviewed Dr. Sandra Richter on the book of Deuteronomy. She addressed this particular passage specifically, and so I'm going to try to address it here for people who are looking for it in a different format. But if you want to go and hear their answers, they do a great job. They really know what they're talking about. Let me clarify a couple of things about this passage that might be tripping people up. First is this. This is a matter of public justice, not private discipline. So when we say a parent could execute a rebellious child, it makes it sound like any parent in their home, if they decide their kid is not responding, they can just kill them. And that just sounds horrible, just saying it that way. And this is not that. This is not parents having the right to execute their children. This is parents saying, when we don't know what to do with this child, we are going to bring them to the public authorities, and they're going to make a decision about this. The second thing that's clarifying is this is an adult child, not a young child. This is not little kids in the home who are talking back. This is not people executing their 8-year-olds. That's not what we're talking about. Remember, in the ancient world, they lived in households where their extended family lived together, and all of the adult relatives worked on the family farm or business, which means they were contributors to the overall, economic life of the home. And so when it talks about parents looking at a rebellious son, they're talking about an adult son who is supposed to be participating well, who's fully responsible in their family, and is capable of working, and is refusing to work, refusing to do anything, and just sitting around eating all the food, drinking, and not responding. And this is the situation that we're talking about, and this is the key to understanding this. Part of our challenge, though, when we talk about this, is we don't see parental authority in the same way they did. So they had a head of household who was in charge of the family, even when adult kids were grown up. And even aside from that, we don't see parental authority as a priority in our culture. We also don't see communal solidarity, that families stick together, the community works together. We don't see that as an expectation. We are individualists. We think we run our own lives and no one else has a say over what we do. And so we struggle with these sorts of things. But I want you to think about this, okay? This has got to be a serious situation. Something has really broken down that has gotten really bad. If a parent would take even their adult child and bring them to the authorities knowing they could be executed, it has to be a situation that is dire. It has to be something that's serious. So start with that assumption. Even if you don't understand all of it, assume what it's addressing is something that would make a parent want to say, I can't deal with it anymore. I'm going to hand my kid over to the authorities. What could be so bad? Here's the context. This is a household working to maintain survival. This is a matter of life and death. So again, remember, this is a whole household, okay? People didn't go out and get jobs at some third-party employer. You didn't go put a resume in and get hired and get a paycheck from some person out there. You worked for your family. If your family was going to eat, if you were going to have any resources or wealth or anything, you worked the land. You brought in the crops. You did manual labor. And if you didn't do enough, if you didn't bring in enough crops, if you didn't prepare well, you didn't eat. And this was not just a matter of, maybe we will be a little bit short. In the ancient world, they estimate that each year, every family was about 60 days short in the number of calories they needed. There was a span of time where if they didn't have enough food stockpiled, they would not have enough to feed themselves. They would have to spread out their food to make it last 60 days longer than it needed to. So that meant every hand counted. Every person bringing in the crops counted. Everybody doing work counted. This was a matter of life and death. And if you've got somebody who is unwilling to work on the family business or the family farm, and all they're doing is they're being a glutton and a drunkard. That's the word that was used in the passage. They're eating all of your resources, and they're sitting there drinking and drinking up all the wine. They're not contributing to the family survival. They're draining you. You got to do something about that. You got to say, and they're not responding. You've called them out on it. You've addressed them, and they're not doing anything about it. What do? This man is actually a threat to your community. And so you have to address it somehow. Maybe in an analogy that makes it more vivid. I want you to imagine there is like a ship that's adrift at sea. And that ship has a limited number of stores. They're out at sea, they're not near land, and they've got to make whatever resources they have, whatever food they've got in the hold, last as long as they can. Now, they can fish. They can get some food out of the ocean, but it's not enough if they don't all work hard and get that fish. And if you've got one crew member who's sitting there, not fishing, not doing any work on the ship, and they're just drinking and they're eating all the supplies, you're looking at that person saying, you're not adding to this, you're draining us faster than it would have. What are you going to do about that? What is the captain going to do when you're out there at sea and this is a matter of life and death for the entire ship? The captain's going to make him walk the plank, right? After you've warned the guy, after you've given him a chance, someone's going to come and say, this isn't going to go well. We're all going to die if this person keeps doing this. So what do? You say, you either get to work or you walk the plank. Now, that may seem really harsh, but you understand that in a time of life and death, you might go to that place. Thanks for listening. If you've got your own questions, email questions@BibleSavvy.com. Like and subscribe to catch our regular episodes every Monday on the Bible Savvy Podcast.